This past December, I had a dream where I saw Shiba Inu skyrocket in value. Once it reached a certain peak, I said to it, "Hey, we got to go back for your sister." So then we proceeded to go down to get the sister of Shiba Inu. In this video, I'm going to share with you why I believe that sister is the token called Shina Inu, as well as share with you the wisdom from the Holy Spirit on how to use this revelation to multiply your wealth transfer profits. If you're watching the replay, feel free to skip ahead as I say hello to the live chat. Hello, live chat. Thank you for bearing with me. YouTube, y'all got to get the platform together. It's just hit or miss. Welcome, Randall and John Bryan. Thank you for joining the members section. Patrick says, Jesus Christ is the Alpha and Omega. Amen. Hello, Shannon, Cherubim Church, Anointed Flowers. Hello, Eric, Andy, and Crypto Kathy. I did get a new camera. I did. This was a few months ago now, thanks to a couple of brothers in the community. New camera, new computer. Blessings for sure. Hello, Old Rounder Bro, Mestizo, Psalms, Lucas, V-Shack. What's going on, man? All right, I'll give a moment to let people get in. If you're someone who shares videos, feel free to share this. This, just like the WikiCat video we did, is going to give you strategy on multiplying your profits. This is just as powerful. Hello, Boon Me and Victory. Hello, KB. New here. Glad to be a part of this family. God bless you, brother. God bless you. Thank you for joining the members section. Welcome. Glory Crypto, Sonia. Welcome, everybody. Let me know in the chat if you are invested in Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu. It's probably the most popular, most common wealth transfer cryptocurrency, prophetic wealth transfer crypto. I mean, everybody and their mother has had a Shiba Inu dream, right? I don't say that derogatorily. I'm just, for real, a lot of Shiba Inu dreams, right? Jesus, please bless this live stream. Amen. I agree with that. Hello, Princess. A lot of people invested in Shiba Inu. Audacious Faith, Eagle Eye, Mugo Guata, Vanessa, Bethany. Yeah, Shiba Inu was my first crypto dream after I knew what the wealth transfer was, but not my first crypto dream ever. Don't worry, Lambo. I'm going to give her credit. All right. Don't worry. We definitely have this thing in the community where people go on other people's channels and, like, hey, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that, so-and-so said it first, so-and-so. I believe giving people their credit for sure. But at the end of the day, all revelation comes from God and all glory goes back to God. Right. And one thing I don't do, I don't piggyback off of other people's revelation. Anything I share it was given directly to me. And when I do get confirmations from other people, I always state these people. I don't think anyone in the community promotes other channels or mentions other channels more than me. Hello, Lisa. All right. All right. Let's get into it. So in case you missed the intro, in this video, we're going to go back over the dream I had in December about Shiba Inu. And then I'm going to give you the confirmations I have since received that essentially show the dream is talking about Shina Inu, the token. and then what to do with the revelation to make sure you multiply your profits. All right. So the reason this came back up, this just came back up yesterday. Like my idea for this live stream came yesterday, because recently the YouTube short that I did about this stream, let me go ahead and share it, has been getting more views recently, and therefore um, more comments as well. And so people have been commenting on it. And so it made me start to think about it some more, give it some more consideration. It led me to do some more digging, more research. And as of yesterday, I am now completely sure this is about Shina Inu. So let me play this. Thank y'all for telling me there's no sound. I specifically checked the box that says share the sound of this tab, but apparently it's not sharing. So I guess I'll just have to play through my microphone. Tell me if y'all hear this. This token rose, but then it's going to go back down and then come back up with another token. During a nap yesterday, I had this dream where a token rose in value. It rose significantly. And in the dream, my understanding and recollection is that it was Shiba Inu. And then the next thought in the dream was, we have to go back and get your sister. So it was like this token, which I believed was Shiba Inu, rose, but then it was like, okay, you rose, but you left your sister down there. We're going to go back and get your sister. This token rose. All right. So that was the YouTube short taken from a live stream where I talked a little bit more about what tokens I believe this could be. At the time, I felt there were 2 to 3 good candidates, right? And so, people have left what they think in the comments. I think Shina Inu 7 months ago. This person says Doge. This person says, I was praying one time and I saw in a vision of the spirit a wind blowing from the east and it blew open a gate and out came Shiba Inu and Shina Inu. But it was Shiba and its wife, not sister. And I saw 39 cents. I had a feeling they were coming out of being held back. And then they say a dog coin that has a sister is Nero. And initially I felt Nero was the best fit because Nero is the literal real life sister of Dogecoin. Um, this person, let's see. I guess I missed this comment. I never responded to them. This person says Volt, another Shina Inu, Shina Inu, Shina Inu. Well, they say Shina Inu is the girlfriend, which is why initially I was like, I don't think it's Shina Inu because it's marketed as the girlfriend, right? Not the sister. This person says, I think Luna Classic. I'm going to need this brother to explain that one. All right, Sheena. Okay. So that's essentially the dream. I saw Shiba Inu going up. I was going up with it. It was like I'm attached to Shiba Inu. And of course, I do own Shiba Inu. And once we reached a peak, we said, oh no, you left your sister behind. We have to go back down and get your sister. And so we proceeded to go down and get the sister. Now, a key part of this whole revelatory experience is after the dream, when I was still in that state between sleep and wakefulness, Shina Inu is the coin that came to mind. And it's been my experience in the prophetic that the revelation you receive in that state, whether you're falling asleep or you're waking up, that in between state tends to be the most accurate revelation you receive. It's when it's in that state. So that's one key piece of information is when I was in that state after the dream, Shina Inu came to mind as the sister token. Okay, so I'm just gonna share the screenshot of the note that I took that day, right? December 15th. You got the system generated timestamp. All right. During a nap, I dreamt that a crypto, I believe Shiba, rose in price. I held this token as I do. But after it rose, I said, we need to go get your sister. So we headed down to get its sister who hadn't risen. Okay. And then I talk about before fully awaking, I thought of Shina Inu as being the sister. But then I started, going through my own reasoning. Sheena is the girlfriend, and this, that, and the other. And so I started going through what tokens I believe it could be. Now, there are a few good candidates, for a sister token. I'll be honest. I told you why Nero is a good candidate. Let me see. I'm trying to pull up my notes. There we go. I mentioned why Nero is a good candidate. Bone is a cryptocurrency, a token that is in the Shiba Inu ecosystem, specifically created to work alongside Shiba Inu, Bone, Leash, Treat, right? So there are some ones that make good cases, but now I'm fully confident it is Shina Inu. So one reason being the revelation I got right after having the dream. The second is the technical factors, right, related to Shina Inu. So here's a website for Shina Inu. Okay. A decentralized meme token on the Ethereum blockchain. Our mission is to give back to the crypto community, give to charity, and win the heart of the greatest token of all time, Shiba Inu. So Shina was essentially created as a Shiba clone, but as, female version who wants to gain the heart of Shiba Inu, right? Okay, so they got there some statistics here: 7 million market cap, high supply, just like Shiba Inu, just like Luna Classic, just like WikiCat. All these cryptocurrencies, their supply is in the trillions. Okay, only just under 10,000 holders. All right. Now, they talk about catching Shina Inu at its infancy if you're in it right now. Now, a big thing, a big connection for Shina Inu to Shiba Inu is they have a charity burn mechanism. And so, long story short, at certain events, whether it's NFT sales, staking rewards, things of this nature, they take a certain amount of money from these events, use that money to buy Shiba Inu tokens and burn them. They then take the same dollar amount of Shina Inu tokens and burn them. And finally, they make a donation to charity. Now, their charity of choice, let me see. I think it's lower. No, where is it at? Okay, it says the Sheena Burn Bank provides an incentive mechanism that we hope encourages millions of dollars to be donated to Shared Hope International so they can grow and continue their incredible work of rescuing children and providing for those who are less fortunate. Right? It says for more than 2 decades, Shared Hope International has worked tirelessly to free enslaved women and children around the world from the sex trafficking industry. Now, me personally, I believe this is another prophetic connection because this is something that has been on my heart for a number of years now, and I've been seeking an organization to partner with. And so this is just another way to do that through investing in Shina Inu. But again, that connection, that burn mechanism where they are burning Shiba Inu tokens, that directly connects Shina and Shiba. Now, Shina is not an official Shiba Inu ecosystem token, right? But they do have that connection, and it was created to try and form a connection to Shiba Inu. All right. So now another reason why I believe It is Shina Inu. Okay, so the next thing I did yesterday as I was going through this, I went to the Ethereum Block Explorer. Okay, so the Block Explorer is where you can look up contracts, you can look up tokens, you can even look at wallets. Now, obviously, the person's name and personal info is not associated with the wallet, but you can literally click on a wallet and see the transactions in the wallet and all of that. So I went to Etherscan and I found Shina Inu just to look at some things about it. All right, are we going to load? All right. Okay, so what I like to do when I'm looking at a token on a block explorer, they list the total supply over here. They got the number of holders. Okay. They got the on chain market cap. But one thing I like to look at the number of holders, but I also like to look at the percentage held by the top, holders, right? So like if one holder holds 10% of the supply by themselves, you got to be a little careful, right? A lot of places will tell you how much of the supply do the top 10 holders hold, right? So once we get over 15%, you got to start being careful, right? Like, for instance, Kanye released a token a few days ago, right? I think the top 10 holders held like 87% of the token. So it rose up initially, but then it came plummeting down, when a lot of the supply is held by a select few, they can make a sell and crash the whole thing, right? It also, the liquidity will be low as well, right? Side note, I did make a 40% profit on the Kanye token. I got in real quick, real early, saw it go up and got out, but that's a story for another time. All right. So if you go to holders right here, right, it'll show you in percentage level, right? It'll show you in order the highest holders, right? So this first address here, 30% held, but that's not a red flag because you can see this address null 000 dead. This is essentially a burn wallet. Okay. You send your tokens here. Nobody has ownership of this wallet. They are burned. They are removed from the supply. Therefore, it's a deflationary thing. You reduce the supply and demand, all of that, right? So no worries here. This next one is Uniswap. And you see this icon here. It says it's a contract. So this is literally the decentralized exchange smart contracts holding of the token. So again, nothing to worry about here. This is not a person holding it, right? This one looks like it might be the first personal wallet holding Shina Inu, right? They only have 3%. Okay. A nice little value there right now. It hasn't even ran up and they got $327,000 in it. But here's the thing I saw that made me say, okay, I'm a little more confident that this is Shina Inu. The second highest personal holder of Shina Inu, their name on the Ethereum network is Yeshua is King. So I said, oh, I think that's a good sign, right? I think it's safe to say the second largest personal holder, their name is Yeshua is King. I think that's a good sign, right? They have nearly $250,000 of value in it already. The Lord looks like they're going to bless them tremendously when this decides to take off. So that was the first thing I saw. Now, before I show you the next thing I saw, let me go to the live chat. I don't like to get too far behind in the chat. So Patrick says Shina will be a stablecoin for SHIB. So this token that I'm showing you, Shina Inu, the meme coin is not the same as the SHI. They have the same symbol, SHI. But that proposed stablecoin for the Shiba Inu ecosystem is not the same as this coin we're talking about here, Shina Inu. All right. It says Sheba pulled an Abraham move and called the sister girlfriend. Joanne says God didn't designate Sheena as a girlfriend. That was man-made. Well, sure, but we're dealing with dreams, we're dealing with prophetic language, metaphors, symbolism, right? Um, so the whole sister thing came in a dream, right? So you have to interpret dreams and break it down. But that's not a bad point, Joanne. Wow, from a week or so, God highlighted to me Sheena, and then this morning she. Thank you so much for sharing this. Amen. My bet is on Sheena Inu too. Well, when people get in front of the camera, people who God have gifted prophetically, right? And they speak prophetically and they're trying to direct people to what God is saying. Not everyone's going to receive it, right? You're still going to have people saying, "Oh, well, I don't know, huh?" But I'm sitting in front of I'm telling you the token is Sheena. That's the point of this video. And I still have some more confirmations. Maybe you'll be a little more sure by the end of this. But the token is Sheena. That's the point of this video. Obsidian Skin, thank you. He says this is a good guy, everyone. He actually hears from God. All glory to God, is people who hear from God is because it's God's plan for them to hear from him. Now, you do have to do your part, right? If you just distance yourself from God and don't develop intimacy with him, then you won't really be receiving. But I appreciate it. If you look at 1802, the time you recorded the dream, the Strong's Concordance literally means to lift out or deliver something from a lower place. Wow. That's a that's a good catch. And God does use numbers a lot with me. So I take that to heart. That's a good one. Hello, JT. Thank you. Okay, Richard. Yeah. Or Richmond. Sorry. Richmond. Yeah. Just email me the dream. That's fine. What is the address of this Shina Inu? So let me show y'all. Well, it's right here actually on the Block Explorer. So if you go to etherscan.io, that's the web address of this site, etherscan.io, or if you just Google Etherscan and click the first link, right? Right here on the right, it gives you the contract. So you would just copy it and paste it into your hot wallet that you're gonna swap for. This is on the Ethereum, obviously, blockchain. So you ideally want to use Ethereum to swap for it. Okay. Now another confirmation is I've made one purchase of Shina Inu. Okay. I made a small little purchase. And the day I bought Shina Inu is actually the day before I had the dream. Now I went back through my YouTube watch history and I'm like, did I watch a video that inspired me to buy it that day? And I couldn't find anything. So for whatever reason, I bought Shina Inu that day, and then the very next day I had a dream. And I've seen that pattern before. I was never interested in the Iraqi dinar. And then finally, I felt the Holy Spirit leading me to basically saying, you should be interested in this. So I finally bought some dinar. And then after I bought it, then I started having dreams, revelatory dreams about price points and all of that. And so I've seen this kind of thing where it's like after I buy the thing, led by the Spirit, of course, then I start to receive more revelation. Okay, so the next piece to the puzzle, the next confirmation, a woman by the name of Dr. Maria Conwell. Okay. A woman by the name of Dr. Maria Conwell. To my knowledge, she is the first person ever in this community to speak about Shina Inu prophetically. In fact, if I remember correctly, she saw this token before it was actually in existence, before it was actually published, or whatever term you want to use, before it was actually generated and created. She saw this. Okay. And so the next thing I did, because I still wasn't fully convinced, this is all happening yesterday, by the way. I had this dream all the way back in December. We're approaching a year, right? So that me just coming to this conviction of it being Shina Inu is just yesterday. So the next thing I did is I went to Google and I searched Maria Conwell Shina Inu, which led me to her website. So then I went onto her website, which has a search box. And so I went to her website and searched Shina Inu. And I found this post on her website. Okay. It says essentially, this is all the way back in 2022. Hey guys, just to clarify, the Lord told me and all of you in this word shared from Z3 in January 2022 to take some of the Shiba profits and put that into Shina Inu. Thus, Shiba Inu runs first. Okay. That was the final confirmation I needed because my dream aligns directly with that. The narrative of my dream aligns directly with that. Shiba runs, leaves its sister behind. So Shiba goes up. You take profits from that, then rotate it into Shina Inu and multiply those profits because Shina Inu will not run yet. Shiba will run first. Shina will run sometime after, right? Dr. Maria Conwell, actually, she is someone who helped me realize a dream I had all the way back in 2022. Um, Essentially, the conclusion I came to is it was connected to Kim Clement's Big E prophecy, which to this day I believe is nuclear fusion energy. And stay tuned for a video that will clearly break that down sometime in the future. Okay. But she has interacted with me before on my channel, left a comment that was very helpful. And so, based on her in the past talking about Shina Inu, that's why it was always in the back of my mind. And likely why I bought some in December, not because I watched one of her videos that day, but she is the one who planted the seed in my mind. And maybe the Holy Spirit just led me, hey, you got some Ethereum on your hot wallet, just swap some of it for Shina Inu so you have some, right? Let me go back to the chat. Also, another factor that makes it clear Shina Inu is the coin. Like a coin like Nero that I pointed out before, it already has like a $200 million market cap, right? Where Shina Inu only has 7 million. So it makes sense in the way that cryptocurrencies tend to run, that Shina Inu would get left behind while Shiba is running because it's small. So it takes more time for the money to trickle down to the smaller cryptocurrencies. That's why, historically speaking, Bitcoin runs first, then Ethereum, then the altcoins, then the meme coins, right? It takes time for the money to trickle down. So that's also another point, just based on market cap of the different cryptocurrencies that you could say is a sister. It makes sense that it's Shina. Oh, what's not visible? So that whole time it was a black screen. Well, now it's there. Here's the link. I mean, you can just Google Maria Conwell, right? Her ministry, as you can see at the top left there, One Small Flame. Okay, so sorry about the black screen. The Lord has been impressing me about Sheena. Thank you for confirming this. I had a dream where I was surrounded by a bunch of dogs. I was holding them by the leash and I was at McDonald's. And then all of a sudden, all the dogs dragged me away from McDonald's going on a run. Let me also say again, because I pointed out how the SHI token, SHI, which stands for Shiba Hidden Interest, I think, right? It's not the one that's proposed to be a stable coin in the Shibarium, if you will. That's not the same as the token we're talking about here. Now, is it possible that some way, somehow, Sheena gets pulled into the Shibarium? Maybe, I don't know. But as it stands today, these are two, the stable coin and this meme coin are two separate tokens. They have the same symbol, SHI, but they're two separate tokens, right? Based on your dream, we should buy Shina after Shiba, big move first or before. We'll get to that. So again, because there was a blank screen, as you can see it on your screen now, her post from 2022, the Lord showed her take profits from Shiba and put it into Shina, which obviously she goes on to say Shiba runs first, which aligns with the dream I had. Shiba goes up, you left your sister behind. We're going to go back down and get your sister. So Shiba goes up, you take profits, you give it to the sister, then the sister comes up, right? I don't think Shina Inu will run just yet. Shiba first. Yeah, that's exactly what's being said. Someone says Maria Conwell is pretty accurate. Yeah, I've seen. That's what I've noticed as well. Pantalla oscura. Lo siento. No se ve nada, hermano. My bad. My bad. Um, Thank you, Psalms. Appreciate the encouragement. Hello, Sybil. Yeah, honey, that person you're mentioning, I don't think they're the most accurate. But if you want to follow that, that's for you. All right. So the next um the next verification is just simply the very first video I ever made to the wealth transfer community. October 2022, I had a dream about Shiba Inu. In the dream, I knew Shiba Inu was about to run, and I knew I needed to place sell limit orders for it. Okay. That was the first video I made to this community. Still my most viewed video to this day. Haven't been able to match the success of that video. Right. And this was 3 years ago. So you can understand the community was smaller. So for it to get as many video or views as it did back then, you know that the revelation in that video went deep into the community, right? And so I think that's largely where a lot of the whole sell limit order um, thing in this community, where now everybody thinks every time they hear a prophetic price point, you have to have a sell limit order. I don't agree with that. A prophetic price point is simply that it's telling you the cryptocurrency will reach that price. A sell limit order is a tool, right? By all means, you can place a sell limit order for every prophetic price point you ever hear. That's fine. But to say that it's mandatory, because then you get a whole bunch of people saying, freaking out, like, what are we supposed to do? I can't get WikiCat on an exchange. How can I place a sell limit order? Just be patient, right? The Lord knows that. The Lord knows that. Either it will be listed on an exchange eventually before it reaches those prices to where you can place a sell limit order, or it'll run in a way to where you can just swap for it once it hits the price. You can just see it in real time and swap for it. Okay. But again, the need, what I've witnessed is the only cryptocurrency where you absolutely have to have a sell limit order for, according to prophecy and dreams and all that, is Shiba Inu. That's the only one, to my knowledge, from being in this community for 4 years now, right? Me making videos 3 years, but I found the community a year prior. The only one I've seen where you have to have a sell limit order is Shiba Inu. Again, that aligns with what we're seeing in the dream and Dr. Maria Conwell's revelation and all that. Because Shiba's gonna run, and in my dream, we go back down to get the sister. So it's gonna run up, but then go down. So you want to have your sell limit orders so you catch the run up, right? Thank you. Oh, Ryan, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So speaking of sell limit orders, okay, y'all know, obviously, people like me, myself, we make content. We're fully committed to making content to help the body, to lead the body. but we all know we all need money to live, right? We all need money to live. So you have to start kind of getting into a business mindset. Y'all know for a while now, I've had a partnership with Caleb and Brown Cryptocurrency Brokerage. I don't promote anything to y'all that I don't use myself, that I don't trust. I have turned down plenty of promotion. Trust me, plenty. Someone just last month offered me $3,000 a month to start promoting crypto projects to y'all. I said no. Okay. Because I know there's going to be some scams in there. All right. But Caleb and Brown, right? The reason I'm bringing them up was sell limit orders. They have high liquidity. They have an aggregated liquidity model where they're pulling liquidity from various places where if you're just on an exchange, your liquidity is coming from the activity on that exchange alone. Caleb and Brown has greater liquidity, right? So if you put some of your Shiba Inu on Caleb and Brown to place sell limit orders, as I have done, okay, you have a greater opportunity of those orders being filled because of the higher liquidity. Okay. So if you don't have a Caleb and Brown account, the account is free. Putting your crypto on there is free. They use Fire Blocks, cold storage solution, industrial grade, great cold storage, right? If your crypto has to be on an exchange anyway, if you're placing sell limit orders, so why not put it on Caleb and Brown where it's more secure than a regular exchange, right? Place your sell limit orders, higher liquidity. It's a win-win. So I have a link down in the description, my affiliate link. Y'all know back in December, we did a promo just with this community, decreased trading fees on XRP back in December for 2 weeks, lower trading fees on Caleb and Brown. So we'll probably do something like that soon. And I'm going to have Jim on the channel this week on Thursday from Caleb and Brown, and we're going to talk about the markets. Okay. If you already have an account, but you haven't used a referral code, you can go into your settings and type walk this way into your referral code and join my community on Caleb and Brown. And you end up supporting this channel, this ministry, and all of that. So I appreciate it. But I'm bringing it up to you because this should be part of the strategy. For the sell limit orders for Shiba Inu, you should be, I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice, not telling you what to do with your money, but I think this is wise. Because remember, the only reason I connected to Caleb and Brown is because I felt led by the Holy Spirit. I reached out to them. They didn't reach out to me. All right. So set those sell limit orders. I also have sell limit orders on regular exchanges as well. I have them in 3 places, 2 exchanges and Caleb and Brown. All right. Let me go back to the chat. Yeah, speaking a little Spanish. I'm rusty though. I need to get back into it. What's the sell limit order price for Shiba? Well, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, right? Many people have seen it go as high as $1. Many people have seen $2. I believe those are the 2 most confirmed high prices, $1 and $2. Other people have seen higher, but when will it reach those higher prices? You know? And so again, if you apply the laddered profit taking strategy that we talked about in the WikiCat video to Shiba Inu, you'll have the same result. You'll be taking profits along the way. You'll benefit from it tremendously. And so if you know the high is, let's say, $2, you can break down the ladder like that, right? So it's also based on your entry price, all of that. So you got to tailor it to yourself. But I just did it for Shiba Inu yesterday. I just went through it. And so I will be taking profits, I'm sorry, before a penny, right? But my highest point is around $2 for this initial run. Now, the initial run may just go to a penny. Who knows where it stops? Because remember, it's going to run up, peak, go back down for Shina. I don't know how high it's going to go and then come back up. That's what I'm assuming, right? If we run up and I say, "Hey, you forgot your sister. We got to go back down to get your sister." We go down only to get the sister. I'm assuming, "Hey, now that we got you, we're going back up," right? Both of us together. Right. And again, because of the charity burn mechanism where Shina Inu is burning Shiba Inu tokens, if Shiba Inu runs, that gives more reason for people to get into Shina Inu because of the connection there through the token burns. All right. Hello, Woody. Good to see you. Ryan says Caleb and Brown are the real deal. They are. I have a few affiliate partnerships, and they have set the bar very high for, for what I expect now from affiliate partners. I mean, just amazing. Have you okay? A couple of sell limit order questions. Yes, Lucas. They also have OTC services over the counter, so large transactions, right? No, you do not have to have money to open an account with them. Opening an account is free. Putting your crypto on your account is free. Transferring your crypto over is free. Yeah, unfortunately, they're not available in the UK and now Canada. Hopefully that changes in the future, but they're a small company still, and they want to be that. They don't want to be they're a crypto brokerage. They're not a crypto exchange. They don't want to be serving tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. Because when you have that personal broker experience, your broker that gets assigned to you that you can email at any time and get your questions answered, you can't do that when you're serving 100 million people, right? So they don't want to be explosively large, right? I just made a withdrawal to my bank account last week. I sent an email to my broker, which is Sean, which is likely the same broker. If you signed up under my link, you probably have the same broker as me. It wasn't even 5 minutes before I got a response saying, "Hey, we've initiated your withdrawal." I mean, it's great service. Yeah, again, I have a link down below, right? And there are benefits to joining Caleb and Brown through the link. Okay. And you're also helping me out, so I appreciate it. Thank you, LL Flow. I appreciate that. Yes, take profits along the way. That's always a good strategy. Ryan says my Kraken locked out one day and Caleb and Brown came through for a trade I needed. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Just honestly, you're not going to get the personal service anywhere else. Y'all remember my issue, no offense, and you know, obviously this is my channel, so my opinions are my own, right? So, but the issue I had with Uphold, where they froze my account and they didn't respond to me for 2 weeks, I had to go to X and show them, hey, I have a little bit of a following, like, and then they responded right away. It shouldn't be that way. You should have no followers and get a prompt response, right? But you're not going to get the service you get from Caleb and Brown anywhere else. Nowhere. Maria said two ways for Shiba. First one was at $1, second was at 13. Okay. Well, yeah, I hope so. I mean, the first wave to $1 will be great. Wow, I just got the meaning of my speeding yellow taxi dream. It went straight up and over a wall, but it did not crash. Now I know why. Shina Inu. Hmm. So you're saying the taxi is Shiba. It goes up, but then comes back down. It goes over the wall like that. I don't know about insurance on funds, Mestizo. I don't think they have insurance on funds, but I can't, don't quote me. Like I said, I'll have Sean on Thursday. He'll be happy to answer any questions y'all have about Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown will help with transferring 401ks too, right? Yeah, I'll ask Sean. Not Sean. I'll have Jim on Thursday, not Sean. Jim. But I'll ask. They definitely have a business side of things where if you have a business now, I know a 401k is a personal thing, but I'm just saying they help with other types of services, so that may be something that they can help with. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back to the chat because I want to make sure first I finish with the Shina Inu portion. Okay, so the practical application, aka the wisdom portion of this, we've talked about the revelation, right? Sheba goes up first. Its sister, Shina Inu, stays down. Sheba comes back down, and then they both go up, right? The practical application, the wisdom, is to now you may think, oh, Shina Inu. Okay, awesome. Like some of you may have never heard of Shina Inu before. Okay. You may think, okay, let me buy some Shina Inu right now, which I would not stop you from doing. I would not discourage you from doing that. But it depends. If you have enough capital to where, okay, I can buy some Shiba, I can buy some Shina, it probably won't hurt. Shina Inu might be around roughly around the lowest it's going to be, so it may not hurt to buy some Shina right now, but understanding that Shiba is to run first and leave Shina behind, it's wise to take whatever money you feel like you want to put in Shina right now and put it into Shiba so that it multiplies. You then take those profits, put it in Shina, and multiply them again. That's how you get rich in crypto. It's called rotation, right? If you watch anybody, not just Christian secular people who have gotten rich in past bull cycles, it's usually by rotation. One asset that you're in goes up. You take profits and rotate them into an asset that has yet to go up. Then that goes up, it's multiplied and wash, rinse, repeat, right? Do the same thing a few times, you're rich. Okay. So that's what this revelation is telling us. Invest in Shiba, watch it go up, take profits, put some of those profits in Shina, watch them multiply. Again, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but I'm sharing with you the prophetic, the wisdom, and what the Lord is saying for his people to prosper in this wealth transfer. And then one more reminder about Sharon, now Daily Bread. Remember, she received revelation that when you see WikiCat run, Shiba Inu will follow. So I believe all of this is very timely. Like I just got inspired to look into this again yesterday. We've seen WikiCat make a run. I'm not saying Shiba Inu runs tomorrow, right? WikiCat might run again and then Shiba Inu, who knows? But just WikiCat runs, Shiba Inu will follow according to the revelation. And then also according to revelation, Shina Inu will follow that at some point. Okay. So all of this is timely as well. All right, back to the chat. So that's what it is. Now I'm gonna give time to the chat, Q&A, replying to comments. But the revelation is Shiba goes up, comes back down, and then comes up with Shina Inu. And the practical application, the wisdom, take profits from Shiba Inu, then put them into Shina Inu and watch them multiply. All right. Is it Sheila or Shina? Shina, Shina. Share the website again. Shina. All right. So are we able to use it as a regular exchange? I mean, it's a brokerage, technically speaking, but buying, selling crypto, limit orders, it operates, in a similar way. Now, I will say, so if I recall correctly, for you to place your own orders, because you can place your own orders through the portal. That's the only thing, the only hurdle for some people with Caleb and Brown is when placing orders, there's a $500 limit or threshold minimum, $500 minimum. So the value of your order should be at least $500. That doesn't matter when it comes to your sell limit orders because the value of those sell limit orders at the higher prices are going to be well more than $500, right? But when it comes to wanting to buy something or whatever the case may be, then that really comes into play. $500 minimum. All right. Can you place sell orders for Shina? To my knowledge, not right now. Is Caleb and Brown available outside the US? Yes, they are. They're actually based in Australia. They're actually based in Australia. MKP, you said they opened an office in Florida. Did they? Did they announce that? I mean, I knew they were planning that, but I didn't want to say anything before it was official. So it's very likely. Um, very likely. I knew that that is where their first US office was going to be. Can WikiCat go on Caleb and Brown? I hope so. I actually emailed them a proposal to list WikiCat. It was official. It was professional. I gave all the statistics, the community, and everything. And so Jim passed it along to the team that does their research to see if it's something they can list. So we'll see. Hopefully, I'll have some good news for the community that WikiCat is on Caleb and Brown. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And another thing about Caleb and Brown is you want to get your account now. You don't want to wait until things start going crazy because it does take a certain amount of time for your account to get approved. I'm not saying it's going to be weeks. It's not at all. But it's not like Coinbase where they use an automated system in AI to basically approve your account. They're actually looking at certain things. No, Caleb and Brown is not in the UK right now, although they want to be. They intend to be. All right, Giuliano, thank you. How many zeros does the correct Sheena have? It has six. It's like six and a five the last time I looked at it today. Six zeros and a five. Heard Coinbase canceled a number of sell limit orders. Yeah, they did that a long time ago. Maybe they did more, but that's what not all, a lot of my sell limit orders for Shiba Inu were on Coinbase. But then when they canceled the orders and changed the threshold for how low the orders could be, it didn't really make any sense to have them on Coinbase anymore. Or the threshold for how high the orders could be. Basically, how far away is your target from the current price? They changed that, and so I moved it all off of Coinbase. Just bought some Shina Inu. Yeah, I have a little bit. I think I'm going to buy a little more, but the main strategy is I'm going to put even more in Shiba Inu. And so the main strategy is to get profits from Shiba and rotate it into Shina. I had a dream 3 years ago, 5,000 for ETH, and Shiba is flying high. Well, shoot, we ain't too far from that. I think ETH hit 4,900 today, right? New all time high. It may not be there right at this moment, but I think it touched that at some point today. Can you demonstrate how to purchase Shina? I might be able to do that at the very end. God told me to cast my net out further and was led to invest today in Shina Inu, and you have just confirmed this for me. Wow. Praise God. Praise God. That's awesome. One thing I want to know, and if you're watching the replay, you can let me know in the comments, or if you're live, you can let me know. Are there any other cryptocurrencies God has told you specifically take profits from this cryptocurrency and then put them in that cryptocurrency? If so, what are the two cryptocurrencies? I'm just interested to hear. Bro, could you share the contract address for the prophetic BNB Tiger? All right, y'all, let's see. So anytime you need an actual contract address, the easy way I like to do is just go to CoinMarketCap. All right. Okay. You're going to find the cryptocurrency, right? So BNB Tiger. right? So it's not 2.0, it's just BNB Tiger. 17 zeros, right? You go to the page, you scroll down, contract, and you just copy it, right? As you can see, it's on the Binance Smart Chain. So you want to make sure you're on that network in your wallet, and you just paste the address into the search box in that wallet and it should pull it up. So you can do this for any cryptocurrency. Anytime you need to find a true cryptocurrency, do this. My recommendation with rotation of crypto profits is to wait until the second coin begins to take off. If you rotate too soon, you're essentially missing out on profits of the first coin. But what if you rotate too late? Where to buy Shina? I bought mine in the Coinbase wallet, or it's now just called Base, Ethereum network, right? So you just put some Ethereum on your Coinbase wallet and swap it. But you can do it probably on any hot wallet, you know. Now let me show you something else. So let's go to Shina Inu. Okay. Markets, right? So this will show you where it's at, where you can get it, but also it'll show you liquidity and trading volume. So most of us probably can't get on whatever Endo X is. I've literally never heard of it. Um, but it looks like, as far as what any of us can access, it looks like Uniswap has the highest liquidity. So Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. It has its own app. You can download Uniswap if you want to, or within whatever hot wallet you use, you can open the browser within that wallet, type in the Uniswap web address, connect your wallet to Uniswap, and swap that way if you want. Or you can just use the regular swap feature in your wallet and let their aggregated whatever algorithm pull the liquidity from wherever they may. But sometimes they it doesn't work very well. Sometimes you might have a high price impact, which essentially means you're paying way more for the cryptocurrency than what it's worth right now. You're losing money on the trade. And so there are some nuances, you know. Centralized exchange versus decentralized exchange, there are pros and cons to both. Hello, COG. Welcome to the member section. Thank you. I don't know anything about BNB Frog, Julia. So we can take profits from WikiCat, put them on Shiba, and do the same with Shina? Theoretically. That reminds me of a dream I had, tag team of Shiba Inu tagging in Shina Inu to get in the ring. That sounds like it's directly in line with, with the revelation we're talking about here. Does Caleb and Brown hold Electronium? I don't believe so. They do have it listed, but I don't believe you can transact with it right now. I'd have to double check. I'd have to double check. But again, I hope everyone who has questions about Caleb and Brown, please be at the live stream on Thursday. It'll be Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thursday. All right. All your questions will be answered. And we're going to be talking about the market. So like the last live stream was a walkthrough of the platform. If you're new to my channel, you can find that on my channel. The live stream before that, I had both Jim and Jake, um, the CEO, on, and we were answering questions about Caleb and Brown. This one, we're just going to be talking about the markets. Jake is a co-founder of Caleb and Brown. In case I got his title wrong, I believe he is the CEO as well. But in case he's not, I know he's a co-founder. I know that. All right. But um, on Thursday, we'll just be talking about the markets. So come to learn about what to expect from the markets. Um, and then also any Caleb and Brown questions that you have will be answered as well. What is the best way to cash these coins out since many of them are not listed on exchanges? I had some on MetaMask to move to Exodus and Tangem. Tangem took like 2 seconds. Exodus took over 2 minutes. To cash out, you do the opposite of what you did to get them, right? So you swap from the small coin into the native coin of the blockchain. Then you send that coin, or you can swap it into a stable coin. Then you send that to an exchange, and then you sell it for US dollars. Or you can just keep it in a stable coin. I do not have a price point for Shiba Inu. What are exchanges you recommend for US citizens? Caleb and Brown. But outside of that, and Caleb is a brokerage, but outside of that, Kraken, um, because you can still place your limit orders wherever you want. Um, that's really it. Like I would say Coinbase if they didn't cancel all those orders last year. I use Coinbase for on ramping. Okay, so what does that mean? That means taking fiat and turning it into crypto. That's on ramping. Off ramping is taking your crypto and turning it into fiat, right? Getting it off the blockchain. Off ramping off the blockchain. So Caleb and Brown, I think, is amazing for off ramping because of their high liquidity, because of their experience in handling massive transactions, right? We all expect to be bringing in millions. Caleb and Brown is key. I like to use Coinbase for on ramping because Coinbase, because I'm pretty sure it's because they have a stake in Circle, the issuer of USDC. They don't charge any fees if you buy USDC with your bank account. They don't charge any fees. So you don't lose anything when you buy USDC and then you send it to the platform that you actually want to purchase the crypto on. Um, and you also incur no fees with that either. So I use Coinbase because I basically get the value of my fiat without losing any of it in fees, right? And then I just take it and buy the crypto that I want to buy. Uniswap and PancakeSwap is useless most of the time. You can swap for the price because of slippage. Okay. Just subscribed. I had a dream 2 days ago about Shina for the first time. Wow. I heard something like you're focused on SHIB when you should be focused on Shina. Like I said, I think all of this is timely. What wallet is best for Electroneum? I think Brother Keith recommends Rabby Wallet. I have no experience with Rabby Wallet. I don't recommend the Electroneum wallet unless you want your money to get tied up, your Electroneum to get tied up. Right now, I have mine on KuCoin, so I have mine on an exchange. Psalm says no, you can't transact Electroneum with Caleb and Brown. LL Flow says we should all write Caleb and Brown about adding WikiCat. I mean, that would have some influence. That is one of the factors. If there's a demand for it, that increases the chances of it getting listed. There are other factors, but demand definitely plays into it. Is 50 million a reasonable amount for Shiba? Well, with a strong confirming price point of $1, I mean, is $50 million good to you? I'm being facetious. I mean, obviously, that's a whole lot of money. So, yeah. Now, obviously, you can sell before $1 and still make some good money, but yeah. I couldn't get Luna Classic on Caleb and Brown. Yeah, you can't. I mean, here's the thing you have to understand, like, Caleb and Brown is not a prophetic crypto platform, right? So, like, looking at looking at it from a natural perspective, um, Luna Classic is like the biggest disaster in crypto history. All right. So like it makes sense that a lot of these places do not list Luna Classic from a natural perspective. Obviously, we have faith in it because of the prophetic. But when you understand, I mean, these places, these exchanges are running businesses. So you got to be understanding when they decide to delist Luna Classic. With that said, one of the I'll save that for another I'll save that for another time. Aurelius Maximus, thank you for joining the member section. Welcome. Thank you for your support. Now I know what on and off ramping means. Send Electronium to your Rabby wallet and then you can send it to your ledger. The Electronium website has instructions. That would probably be a good move. I mean, if it's on your ledger, I'd be pretty confident in that. Are you planning on XRP ETF? The Lord told me in a dream about it. Is it through a regular stock exchange? If so, do you have one in mind? No, I don't. I personally don't see any reason to buy an ETF when I can just buy the crypto directly, or to buy shares in an ETF. Now, some people, it's easier, right? Like it's easier for some people to just do it that way instead of learning blockchain and crypto and all of that. Also, another thing about ETFs is it's typically it's not purely just that crypto. Like a Bitcoin ETF has a small percentage of XRP in it, right? Most of them. So that's another thing, and not just XRP, like other cryptocurrencies. Team MJP says if the coin is on the Ethereum network, you can set limit orders using Uniswap. Okay, I didn't know that. Might be worth checking out. Also, someone asked about having their sell orders going through. When you want to sell, you can select the higher gas fees to give it a better um, chance of going through and being successful. Yeah, the higher the gas fees in your transaction will be prioritized. That is correct. Can you make a video to demonstrate how to purchase Terra Luna Classic? Okay, so I did a video last year on how to buy WikiCat, right? That process is literally the same process you would use for any cryptocurrency that you can't find on an exchange. All right. So I'll walk through that right now since I made it to the end of the chat. All right. So we'll use Shina Inu as an example. Okay. We're already on CoinMarketCap. Like I pointed out earlier, you find the cryptocurrency on CoinMarketCap. That's what I like to use. You can use CoinGecko, right? You come to contract to make sure you get the right contract and you copy it. Okay, you see right here, it shows Trust Wallet, MetaMask. These are just quick buttons for you to add it to that wallet if that's the wallet you want to use. But you don't have to use that wallet. Like I said, I swapped for my Shina Inu on Ethereum, right? Then you would open up your wallet. I'm not going to go through that. Um, but you would open up your wallet and paste the contract you just copied into the search box on your wallet to pull up that coin. Okay. Then you simply swap for that coin. So because Shina Inu is on the Ethereum network, you make sure you have Ethereum in your wallet, and then you swap Ethereum for Shiba Inu. And it's really that simple. In my video, I walk through the steps in a more detailed manner, but that's the process, right? And same for Luna Classic, right? Same for BNB Tiger, same for WikiCat. You find the contract address, you go to your wallet, paste that address into the wallet, and then swap the native coin of that chain for the token you're trying to get. You want to make sure you're on the right blockchain, right? So this is Ethereum. WikiCat is Binance Smart Chain. Luna Classic is the Terra blockchain, but Luna Classic is also on other blockchains. It's on Cosmos. It's on, let's pull it up. Oops, selected the wrong one. All right. So it'll also show you here. If you go to Explorers, well, contracts really, right? So if you hit this drop down, you see you can get it on Ethereum, you can get it on Binance Smart Chain, Solana. Like Terra is on a lot of blockchains, Terra Luna, right? Polygon Avalanche is on its own blockchain, right? But easier than all of that for Terra Luna Classic, I just remembered Terra Luna Classic is on Kraken. Terra Luna Classic is on, yeah, Kraken. So you just go on Kraken and on a centralized exchange and buy it. Hi, would we have enough time to sell manually on SHIB? I don't believe so because of that dream I had nearly 3 years ago now. In the dream, I knew I had to place sell limit orders for Shiba Inu, right? I don't, I mean, it depends on what price too, you know what I mean? But it was impressed very, very, very strongly on me in that dream. You need to set sell limit orders for Shiba Inu. Now, why would you have to set sell limit orders for something? Because it's going to run up so quickly and come back down to where you don't have time to manually sell. Do you hold Volt Inu? Do you have a Palau ID? Yes and yes. Bought BNB Tiger on Trust Wallet since I couldn't through MetaMask for some reason. What are your thoughts on Trust Wallet? You know, I was using MetaMask for a long time. I've recently used Trust Wallet to get I use it to get the token that the sister at Prophetic Intercession mentioned, Kitsune, um, because it wasn't pulling up in MetaMask for whatever reason. Even though I was pasting the contract, it wasn't coming up, but it came up in Trust Wallet, and so that was my first time using Trust Wallet, and I've since used it to buy a little WikiCat too. I feel like it's easier to buy in Trust Wallet, um, but would I advise holding my crypto on Trust Wallet? Probably not, you know. Lucas says, "Be careful with pop-up coins in Trust Wallet. Do not interact with them." That is true. You do get a lot of those in Trust Wallet. I will say that. That's one thing I've noticed. Is they're likely honeypot scams. You know, you see this money pop up in your wallet all of a sudden, so you try to interact with it and you try to sell it or buy some more, and you end up interacting with a tainted contract, and then they end up draining your wallet. So it's called a honeypot scam because it's like they entice you with the free money. That's the honeypot, and then they take your crypto out of your wallet. I saw a question that I wanted to respond to. I'm not seeing it anymore. Oh, someone asked sell orders on Shiba Inu. Again, $1 is a very strong high price point for Shiba Inu, at least in the first run, right? So anywhere between now and then that makes sense for you to take profit, you can take profit, you know? So I need to buy ETH and then swap to BNB to buy WikiCat? No. You need to buy BNB. And you can buy BNB on Kraken. If you buy ETH and then swap, it wouldn't be a swap, it would be a bridge because they're on different blockchains and that will cost you more money. So you'll lose value on the trade overall. No, Kay, I don't have any concerns for a price needing to be there for 30 seconds for an order to fill. Like I said, I'm diversified. Some of my SHIB is on Caleb and Brown, and I also have it on 2 other exchanges, right? A sell limit order, no matter where, is never guaranteed. Understand that. Even if the coin hits that price, your order being filled is not guaranteed. And when you have orders at the same price point, multiple orders, then there's a queue, right? So in this community, with a whole bunch of people saying $1, $1, $1, $1, and then 1,000 people go and place their order for exactly $1 on Kraken, well, I hope you're not number 1,000 in that line, you know? So that's another thing to take into consideration as well. But my point being, sell limit orders are not guaranteed. Limit orders are not guaranteed, no matter where they're at. What are your thoughts on Penny Wallet? Um, my thoughts are I hope it does well. My thoughts are they're working out some kinks and some technical things with it, as Sir Mappy has shared on his own X account, right? And so that's why I hadn't used it yet, because that's typically what happens with new technology, new software, right? The kinks got to get worked out, and it's not a negative thing. I mean, how many Apple iOS updates have there been where there were issues and then they had to patch the update or push out an update for the update to fix, you know? So if a company like Apple has to work out kinks, you know, have some grace for this Christian project. So yeah, I hope it does well. And I likely will use it, you know, at a certain point when the kinks are worked out. Yeah, T Smith, it was Kitsune or however you pronounce it. Yes, Vanessa, that's the same. That's the same Luna Classic. Just look at the price. If the price is exactly the same, it's the same Luna Classic. I mean, that's a very simple, oversimplified way to confirm, but I know that it's the same Luna Classic. Like I've done the thorough checking. All right, we're getting into a lot of like kind of nitpicky questions. I'm not going to sit here and answer, you know, a ton of one-off questions. I think I've answered a bunch at this point, um, and I'm kind of tired. I'm not going to lie, but also all the questions that are being asked, I've answered in one way or another, various times, various videos, all of that. But I've answered pretty much the vast majority of them. There's some questions I won't answer because it's like either A, you need to ask the Lord for yourself, or B, is I feel like it's the wrong question to be asking, or whatever the case may be. But no offense to anybody. Don't take it the wrong way. Yeah, speaking of so on X, man, like the amount of WikiCat posts all of a sudden popping up on my X feed is insane. I'm seeing posts from people in all these different countries saying we stand with WikiCat. I saw China, I saw Iran, I saw like it's man, WikiCat's getting ready to go off again. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Don't forget Thursday. I'll be having Jim on with Caleb and Brown. All right. See you soon.